This innocent-looking transit on display in a Ford truck dealership is the result of a joint promotional campaign between Ford of Britain Truck Sales and TWR Racing of Raynham, Essex. Heralded by the name Supervan, it was conceived to publicize the inherent qualities of the basic transit range, and its creation has resulted in one of the most fantastic vehicles ever imagined. Where's the engine? In the back, behind the bulkhead. Located in what is normally the load-carrying compartment. A 5-litre Gurney-Westlake Ford V8 unit mounted amidships on a space-frame chassis bolted to the basic transit body shell. Ventilated GT40 disc brakes with fully independent racing suspension. 8-branch crossover exhaust system discharging through 2 4-inch megaphone tailpipes. 4 Weber carburetors allowing 435 brake horsepower to breathe, plus a 5-speed transaxle ZF gearbox, transmitting the power through Rotaflex couplings to 15-inch wheels and tires. So much for the theory. What about the practice? Launched to the public in April 1971 at an international meeting at Thruxton before 30,000 race fans, Supervan was then put through a full appraisal program. Performance figures confirmed were 0 to 60 in 7 seconds and 0 to 100 in 21.6 seconds, with a potential maximum speed of well over 150 miles per hour, only a shade slower than the Le Mans winning GT40. With proven handling and performance behind it, Supervan was then driven and tested by the motoring press, resulting in extensive publicity coverage. Not content to rest on its laurels, however, this incredible vehicle then went on to demonstrate its capabilities at a variety of venues. Santa Pod drag strip. Haringey Stadium. Brands Hatch Circuit and many others. Making a surprise nighttime appearance at Haringey, Supervan showed its versatility and entertained a crowd of over 4,000 people during a short oval race meeting with demonstration runs around the track. Equally at home in the heat and atmosphere of the Santa Pod drag strip, amongst street-altered and supercharged rail cars, Supervan turned in a creditable time of 14.5 seconds for the standing quarter mile, with a terminal speed of 92 miles per hour. By comparison, in pouring rain, Supervan with Chris Craft at the wheel and on dry tyres challenged TWR in his own race-prepared Group 2 BDA Escort to a 5-lap handicap race on Ford Sport Day. After one of the most unusual chases ever seen on the Brands Hatch circuit, the Escort closed on the Transit, which dramatically spun on the flooded track during the final lap, and the Escort streaked for the finishing line, a worthy but hard-pressed winner. As for the future, who knows what Supervan will tackle next? There is talk of the Nurburgring circuit, television presentations and land speed records. After all, you can't keep a good Transit down.
1971, Terry Drury Racing built the thing specially for Ford by matching up an actual Ford GT40 chassis and running gear, including a 435 horsepower V8, to the body of a classic 1965 Transit van.
They tell me this is a Ford Transit. I must say I find that very difficult to believe, having seen it travel. But the giveaway must be those very fat wheels and the air intakes. What really is under the skin?
Well, most people do find it difficult to believe, actually. It's a special vehicle which we call Transit Supervan 2. And it is a vehicle that we've built and designed and built using aerospace technology to excite and demonstrate to the crowds throughout Europe at various race meetings.
Well, obviously it pulled the crowd when you went on the track just then, but I mean, as I said, what have you got under the skin? What is the chassis?
The chassis is made from aluminium honeycomb sheet with full ground effect aerodynamics, like the Le Mans style cars have these days and Grand Prix cars used to have in the past. And the body is a plastic replica of a Transit body shell, slightly cut down in profile.
So you've taken molds, have you, off a Transit shell? Yeah.
That's right, and slightly cut them down to get a more dynamic profile to suit the racing environment. But it's made using Kevlar, carbon fibre and Nomex reinforced plastic, and also glass fibre with a roll cage and various other things. It basically creates a very, very strong sophisticated structure which is suitable for the sort of speed that this vehicle can do, while still being extremely light.
What is the engine?
It's what we call a Ford Cosworth DFL 3.9 litre engine. It's developed from the Grand Prix engine that was the most successful Grand Prix engine of all time. It produces about 590 horsepower, it's quite a lot of horsepower, at about 9,500 RPM. It really is in effect a Le Mans car. With this high-tech body on it. And in fact, it's probably faster in a straight line than a Le Mans car. At Silverstone, for instance, we were pulling down the straight there, 9,300 RPM on high gearing. And when I thought it was quite quick, but when we actually came back and looked at the gear charts, we found it was 174 miles an hour.
Be the fastest van in town. Perhaps they should offer it to the A team. And to be fair, not today, but yesterday, when it was drier and less windy, he did take half a second off the saloon car lap record for Castle Donington.
At first sight, the good old Transit hardly counts as one of the world's fastest cars. Apart from anything else, it's a van. Or most of them are anyway. But not all the transits built since its launch in 1965, when the Beatles were top of every music poll and the B-52s were just bombing Cambodia, not all of them have been plain old delivery vehicles. First came Supervan in '74, a transit with a Ford V8 engine behind the seats, which soon became Supervan 2, a bit more sophisticated with a trick chassis and a DFV. Both of them were fast and fun. Then there was silence from Ford, a gap filled by the Espace F1, a serious attempt at a racing van, one of the few things which brought a smile to Frank Williams' face last year. Or any year, come to that. It made some people at Ford laugh too, so much so that in a little shed in Essex where Supervan 2 was resting on its laurels, they got out the welding torches and the carbon fibre, and an HB V8 like the one Michael Schumacher had been using to win world championships, and Supervan 3. Naught to 60 in 3 seconds, and for those with the bottle, Supervan will keep right on going until its regrettably large frontal area holds it back to 155 miles an hour. None but the brave will ever see that happen. Even on a racetrack, Supervan's a handful. Once the back end goes, reported one journalist, it's gone forever. But what do you expect? Supercar performance for 60 grand makes it a real bargain. And you know there's somewhere to put the shopping.
Transit ever made. This is So, what kind of deranged engine has this one got?
It's not what you're expecting. It isn't even where you're expecting it to be. There you are. A 3.5-litre V8 from a Benetton Formula One racing car. The gearbox is Formula One. The wheels and tyres are Formula One. The suspension is Formula One. What we have here, basically, is a Formula One car with a body that can only be described as fantastic.
It may be old F1 technology, but I still hit 160 on the straight. And were it not for the intervention of the chicane, I could have gone on to a staggering 180. That's because it has carbon fibre discs and carbon fibre pads, and it takes forever to get some heat into them. But when they're warm, this becomes the best getaway vehicle of all time. You know, Ford have built 3 million transit vans and say that everyone in the country at some time has been in one. Bet Ronnie Biggs wished he'd gone in one like this.
Daar vond vorige week een hele speciale demonstratie plaats. Michael Verkers reed met de Ford Transit Supervan 3. Een bom van een auto.
Op het rechtstuk toch wel 265, 270.
This is just really a little bit of a joke. It was built primarily as a means of giving members of the public some idea of what it was like to be powered by a Formula One engine of about 650 horsepower.
Just what every transit driver needs. Formula One wheels and tires. What's happened to the bumpers? This is a dog kennel. No, it's not. It's an air scoop. But it still runs super unleaded fuel.
Deze auto is voorzien van een 3,5 liter V8 motor met 6 versnellingsbak. Hij weegt 890 kilo en alles is bijna Formule 1. Waanzinnig!
Ja, het is ontzettend snel op het rechte stuk natuurlijk, maar helaas is hij best wel zwaar en het gewicht is allemaal vooraan. Dus door de langzame bochten is hij heel langzaam. Ik heb 13.000 toeren, dus ik moet naar z'n 1. En dan rijd ik met 5.000 toeren. En ja, dan heb ik gewoon veel te veel wielspin. Dus op het rechte stuk en de snelle bochten gaat hij ontzettend snel. Maar de langzame bochten kan je niet veel verwachten.
It is very spectacular, especially in a straight line. It's very, very noisy and it's very, very fast.
En snel ging hij. In de pits kwamen we ook Jos Verstappen tegen. Heeft hij nog speciale gevoelens bij de Masters?
Ja, ik denk het wel. Ik bedoel, als je dan teruggaat naar een jaar of 5 terug, toen ik hier in 93 de Masters won, is het natuurlijk ontzettend een goede herinnering.
Die Ford Transit, Formule 1, is dat wat voor vanmiddag?
Niet voor mij.
Nee?
Nee.
Een ottermooie mooie demonstratie van deze Ford Transit Formula 1.
The Ford Transit, man's best friend, and now 50 years old. We've all got a transit story. You've either driven one or had your stuff delivered in one. 8 million sales since 1965, loved by builders, loved by delivery drivers. What's my story? I'm just about to drive the world's fastest transit van. Bet yours didn't sound like this.
Well, Jake, look at the engine.
This one, yeah, this is a picture. Oh, yeah, we've got this one. Smile. Okay, lovely. Oh, sorry.
Hi, good morning. My name's Anthony Reed. I'm driving the Ford Supervan 3, and it's Saturday morning of the Goodwood Festival of Speed 2013. The history of this car started way back around the start of my career in the 1970s, I think with what they called the Supervan 1, and that had a Formula 1 engine in it. Then it evolved over a period of years through the 1980s to Supervan 2, where we now find ourselves with the Supervan 3 in the 21st century. It looks like a transit van, but it's actually a scaled down version of a transit van. It literally is just a silhouette made of fiberglass, but underneath you've got a Le Mans racing car with a Formula 1 style engine, a Hewland gearbox, fully independent suspension. So it really is disarming, because when I jumped into this car yesterday I thought it was going to be very cumbersome, it wouldn't handle properly. I'm just amazed. It handles like a racing car. It's extremely quick, got lots of power, very good brakes, and goes around the corners probably faster than 90% of the cars here today. So I'm having a lot of fun. Thank you. Yes, of course, I'm the reigning king of the hill. I won the top 10 shootout at last year's event, so I'm still the reigning king of the hill for the next few hours until Sunday afternoon. We're not going for times in this vehicle, but I'm just doing the demonstration runs. But I estimate that we will probably do 55 seconds in this van up the hill. To put that in context, my sort of winning time last year was 46.46 seconds, so we're about 10 seconds slower than what I drove last year, which was the Chevron GT3. And so, I mean, for a vehicle like this, that's highly respectable.
In 1994. It was an evolution of Supervan 2 using the same C100 racing chassis, but swapped out the engine in favour of a wild 650 horsepower 3.5 litre Ford Cosworth HB. A few years later, Ford changed the engine again for a less powerful 3 litre V6 to improve, drivability.
So this is the nicest thing here. Supervan 3, if you know this vehicle from the 90s, you'll know full well what you're looking at. Cosworth derived with just the most insane. I wanted to go through this car as much as I can, but I've only got a bit of time. Brembo big brakes, the centre lock at the front, ducting going in there, Cosworth badging. Look in here, we'll just get you guys right in there. Look at that in there, I hope you guys can see in there. Absolutely insane. Huge wheels at the back, I mean they're absolutely massive. Dunlop tyres, insane thickness from this thing. Yeah, one of the most insane and well-known vans or supervans that ever came out. And this is on display here today with the V6 supercharged engine. What is mid-mounted, I'm assuming, basically right there unbelievable. The technology just from this era is insane. It's also raw, the lines, the air filter's literally right down there. You can just about see it. We're looking around this thing today just quickly with you guys. It's such a treat, isn't it? I mean, look at the headers coming off. Unbelievable. We did get a bit of video of this actually started up, you know. It just sounds unbelievable. Look at the size of the thickness on the rear tyres, just as we are here. Absolutely insane. But definitely my pick of the video.
Alright, so let's take a little wander around this, shall we? And we'll start at the front where you've got this much more aggressive set of eyes and this full width light bar here. The issue, of course, with making a 2,000 horsepower van is aerodynamics. It's basically got the frontal cross section of a bus stop. The team here refer to it as two GT40s stuck on top of one another, but they've got an ingenious solution. So all the air doesn't have to go around the van and over the top and underneath it. There's actually an intake under here, and that feeds air through a massive carbon fibre tunnel that runs along the full spine of the car and then exits that air out the rear. Genius. Pretty much everything you see is carbon fibre, some of it exposed, some of it wrapped here, all the panels, all the aero add-ons, and check this out, the door is just ridiculously light. I wish you could feel that. It feels like it's going to fly away in my hand. Now, the basic structure of this is an E-Transit Custom. They basically took one of those and then angle grinded the top half off, and then on top of that they built a bespoke tubular space frame structure with front and rear subframes. You've got double wishbone suspension. You've also got Alcon racing brakes there. Steel rotors, not carbon ceramics, because that makes them more usable in a bigger variety of situations. And now we need to talk about the aerodynamics on this car. You've got these two enormous air tunnels that run through the back of the car, and they're giving us strong Ford GT vibes. You've also got a big diffuser down there, you've got a wing stuck up on top. And all this stuff isn't just for bragging rights down the building site. It actually adds up to 500 kilograms of downforce at 186 miles an hour, which is just bonkers numbers when we're talking about a van. You can also get, I'm told, a detachable tow bar that goes down here. It's not attached at the moment, and that can tow over 2 tons. You've got to love Ford's commitment, don't you? Inside, you're quickly aware this isn't your average spec white van. For starters, driver and passenger sit in racing seats with full harnesses. There's a Motec display behind the wheel and the 15.5-inch screen from a Mackie in the middle. And not a lot else. There's also this, a hydraulic handbrake. I think they called it the Fun Haver in the Mackie 1400, but it's actually quite an important feature, this, because the plan from Ford is to make the Supervan versatile. It can be set up for hot laps, or for the drag strip, or for a bit of rally punishment, or for drifting about. And that's the beauty with electric motors, that you can send the power wherever you want it. In terms of driving modes, well, there's 3 at the moment: road, track and drag, although rally mode and drift mode are going to be added at a later date, and you can delve even deeper than that. If you go into the settings and we look here at, let's say, launch control settings, you can tell the computer whether you're on a road, on a circuit, on a drag strip, or you can get proper nerdy and tell it the exact grip level from 10 to 100%. And get this, down here there's a little mode called tyre cleaning. Basically what that does is lock up the front axle or the rear axle so you can spin up your tyres and scrub them off, or just do massive smoky burnout. And that's the thing with this van, the possibilities are literally endless. This project will continue to develop, and Goodwood is just the beginning. Now I wonder what the man tasked with driving this thing fresh out the box at Goodwood thinks of all this. That man, by the way, is Romain Dumas, 2-time Le Mans winning legend and holder of the Nurburgring and Pikes Peak electric lap records in the VW IDR. Romain, so have you got any memories of Supervans in the past? Have you ever driven any of them, any of the old ones?
For sure. When I was a child, I remember, I was always quite surprised and impressed at the time. I remember looking, with my parents, some video, and it was quite fun. I did not expect for sure to have a chance one day to drive Supervan myself, but for sure a lot of memories.
Yeah. And what's your involvement in the project then? Obviously, driver, I'll state the obvious, but how long have you known about it? When did you get involved?
Well, you know, we had some talk with Ford Performance, with Mark Rochbrook for, yeah, let's say quite a long time. And when he spoke about it, for sure, my experience with the electric car and with the Volkswagen car was directly linked with the Supervan. He told me, are you interested to drive this crazy project? First of all, I have to say, I did not really understand what was this project. And we went more deep in details, and I said, yeah, it could be really excited, you know, so much power, crazy idea, and also something completely different, you have to say. So, yes, how everything started.
And you mentioned there your experience with electric cars. Of course, the IDR is on your CV, Pikes Peak, that record at Nurburgring. What's the secret? Is there a secret to driving very powerful electric cars?
At the end of the day, I think it's no secrets, you know, it's more or less, you know, when you are used to really fast car, LMB or whatever, for sure you are used to so much power, but an electric car, it's even more power, you know. As soon you will touch the throttle, you will be shocked, and that is really the case, that is really the point. On top of that, at the end of the day, you have to adjust, to adapt your car for your own style, but also how to use this power, you know. You have 2 axles, you can play a lot more than you are able normally to play with a combustion engine. So is why it's a lot of advantage in this kind of car. And it's really an engineer car at the end of the day, you know. You have really to collaborate with your engineer to analyze everything to have really a fast one.
Yeah, I heard whenever I've spoken to racing drivers, there's no such thing as too much power. Is 2,000 horsepower too much power? You know, there must be a point where actually you're trying to keep the wheels from spinning. So is it too much?
Well, the good point is, I'm thinking just when you ask the question, at this point of my career, I drove a lot of things, but I never drove a car with 2,000 horsepower. So let's say, you see, something is new all the time. But target for sure is to find the grip on track, you know, to use all this power. And this is for sure will be a key point. On top of that, you have to accept it's a van, you know, quite big, quite high.
Yeah, the aerodynamics aren't fantastic on a van. I think one of the guys was saying earlier, it's like 2 GT40s on top of each other. Hopefully we will produce 2 times downforce of GT40. Like that we are sure we'll be very fast, you know. No, but at the end of the day, you have to accept it's a van. I mean, the basis, if you look the underfloor, I mean, the floor, it's from the Transit. So, you know, we have to work on it. But definitely at the end of the day, you can see it's, you know, with push rod and so on, you know, raised dampers, so wing, you know, underfloor, so we can work on it. And as you say, this car needs some work. You're actually driving this at Goodwood Festival of Speed just over a week's time. So is it going to be ready?
I hope it will be ready for sure. At the end of the day, I hope I will be, you know, impressed at the start line, you know, when I will go on power, you know, definitely.
And you're going for the full time attack up the hill. See what time you can set, right?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, for Goodwood, you know, it's so the car is so wide that with some corner it will be very, very tight, definitely. But we will see. First of all, you know, we have to be on track to show this beauty, we can say like that. I'm sure people will be shocked. First time we came in Goodwood some years ago with a Volkswagen, everybody was a little bit laughing about electric car, but after when they saw the car, they were all impressed. And I'm sure with this kind of project, they will be also impressed, you know, because already when you are looking at it, it's already quite impressive.
Exactly. Well, we'll be watching. Best of luck, and watch out with the Flint wall. It can get quite narrow.
For sure, I will remember.
Unfortunately, and despite my pleading, driving it ourselves at this stage wasn't allowed, but I did persuade them to let us strap into the passenger seat. Roman, unfortunately, had to head to the airport, but we had a more than worthy replacement in Manfred Stoll. Ex-WRC driver and the man whose company Starred partnered with Ford to design and build the Supervan. So if any man knows it inside out, it's him. And just to be clear, there was still much calibration to be done to the batteries, the motors and all the systems that govern it all before this thing was ready to hoon up the hill at Goodwood the following week, so deploying the full performance wasn't possible. Let's just call this a taster. The first thing I'll say actually is you do sit quite high. Anyone that thought electric cars were quiet, not this one. You can already feel the lateral D on those slick tyres is really strong. He's warming up now, going a bit faster. The car started to slide a little bit there. Let's see if we can get it. Yeah. Starting to move around. It feels like a race car. It doesn't feel like a van. Let's see here. My word, when this thing is unleashed fully, it's going to be quite a thing. What an absolutely bonkers machine. I love it. I love it. Love the smell of tyres in the morning. Now, this is the part of the video where I'm supposed to deliver a balanced summary. Pros and cons perhaps suggest if you should actually buy this thing. Clearly, here that's absolutely not necessary, for all we need to do is revel in the insanity and brilliance of a 2,000 horsepower van with a race chassis and proper downforce. But we must also celebrate that Ford, a juggernaut of a company with shareholders to keep happy, can still find the time and the effort to produce hilarious one-off marketing projects like this. It's a powerful tool, the Supervan, in more ways than one.
So I managed to do that, coming back up the hill. Oh, that's fun. There we go. Maybe we're going to get a few, yeah we are, definitely going to get a... So give the Superman a round of applause. Oh, he's going to kick you all some dust into you if you're standing outside Goodwood House at the moment. Hope you had your hand over your beer. Supervans 1, 2 and 3 and by far. Seen for the first time here, Ashton was following in the tradition that Ford has produced these Supervan 40 versions of their vans over the years, but nobody has seen it until this weekend, and this is another. Yesterday, and it's got the record here in an electric vehicle in the past electrically done. One is bending the formation around to the right. It takes the news to be more difficult, but it rolls. It's quite small. You said we don't mind putting the bikes back. It is pretty small, I have to say. A reduced.
Is that the Audi or only Audi?
Oh, they know when the boss for 3 hours from the wall and on a gravel, when like rally with my boss.
To try and stop them whinging, we let them choose the first event.
Yes, carry on.
Okay, it's a working man's 1 kilometre drag race. We will pit a typical Aussie commercial vehicle against a typical Pommy commercial vehicle to see which is the fastest.
Drag race.
Yeah, what he said was...
Yeah, that's right.
What he said was, OK, it's a working man's 1 kilometre drag race.
This was a cunning move by the Aussies because it meant they could go straight into bat with the Maloo pickup.
See that there? A 6-litre V8, 380 horsepower. In America, they use the engine out of this in a Corvette. Oh, yeah.
Sadly, we hadn't thought to bring a commercial vehicle.
The bloke who just came and painted my house did have a Jag. Is that any good?
Doesn't make it a commercial vehicle, does it?
Not really, no.
We can really get away with any of these as...
They're just going to say that we're cheating.
Luckily, Jeremy then remembered he had a mate with a Transit. So it was brought over and a pessimistic Hammond climbed aboard.
This is not a good start for us. This exhaust is blowing. Badly.
That really suits you, that.
I can't imagine you in anything else, Bruce.
It is just Bruce in a Bruce-mobile.
And look at Nigel over there.
Can we just stand back, because this is, I'm afraid, going to be...
A bloodbath.
It is. A bloodbath. Exactly. Right?
You're still sure you want to do this?
Yes.
Yes. Why do I have to do the first event, and why does it have to be in an old vat?
All we've got to do is watch that little green light and then win.
I'm sorry, Bruce. We take that one. First blood to Nigel.
Sorry, Bruce.
Oh, yeah. So I forgot about the traditional
gesture.
That's not a van.
It is a van.
It is a van.
It feels like a van.
It is a van.
Did you see the look on Nigel's face when it took off?
They don't believe it's a van.
Pretty impressive. I like your van. And they're all like that. That's standard.
What's this? Look, I will prove to you that it is and van.
It's a van.
Behold,
Look at it. Clearly, it's a van. What is that?
It even managed to beat you while carrying an engine in the back. Ready? Hang on.
It says Jaguar.
Yeah, but all right, this might be a bit, yes.
And it's turbocharged too.
It is slightly turbocharged. It's actually, what it is, if I'm honest, it's a Jaguar XJ220.
Oh!
But
Did you say we weren't allowed to bring a Jaguar-propelled van?
well, no.
No.
Is it a van?
Is a van a commercial vehicle? You could have warned me. I got the shock of my life. Honest to God.
For your typical white van man, this would be the ultimate transit. It may look bog standard, but I kid you not, it's far from it. Let's meet the owner and the driver, Justin Law. How are you doing?
Yeah,
now,
good, thanks.
At first glance, this looks just like any other standard transit a builder might use. It's got all the props in the dashboard, but the first clue is there's nothing under the bonnet.
No, that's right.
What have you done with it?
Well, it was built by TWR and Jaguar Sport to develop the engine for the Jaguar XJ220. So the engine's not in there, it's round the back.
And it's not a standard engine, is it?
It's an XJ220 engine.
So, will I find it in here? No. Well, there's no clues in there apart from the roll cage, so let me have a look in the back. Right. That's a bit more interesting, Justin. What engine is that?
Well, it's the engine out of the Jaguar XJ220. It's a 3.5 litre V6 twin turbo.
With how much power?
540 brake horsepower.
And a 0 to 60 of?
Probably around 5 seconds.
So I assume it's got the brakes and everything else to match?
Yeah, as per the XJ220, all the same.
And is it fully insured and road legal?
Yeah. It gets used quite regularly on the road.
So with your builder's hat on, you go out looking for Porsches and Ferraris?
Exactly, yeah.
Well look, you're in your race suit, we're at Donington Park. How would you like it if I could arrange for you to have a few laps?
That would be wonderful.
It's a hard job, isn't it, Stephen? It was all looking good for an independent win for that first race.
Yeah, it was. I think sort of pace now, you know, coming from 16th to 2nd. It's quite a good result.
Yes, it's not a bad result.
It's not a bad result, but it could have been better, I suppose. But I think we got a bit of damage from there.
massive piece of work and tells numerous tales of daring do over the last century plus of motorsport. Seeing on the screens now. This is a Ford Transit with a He's turning in, Marcus, about 10 minutes before he gets to Molecombe to get it round. Extraordinary.
Now at Pergo's up Birdless Grove.
Get up beside it and give him a thumbs up. It's a tabloid headline, but it involves someone famous. Sorry. This is not something they intend to do. I thought it was quite interesting to see, either the happy hooker or the vegetarian. There's this real sort of spectrum that people think it's either really glamorous or really sleazy, but actually, for both it's quite humdrum, and sort of getting on with it day to day, but always sort of real risk of sexual abuse, physical abuse, of falling into drug addiction. So they're extremely adventurous of getting from drug addiction. Please, yes, go Tom. Don't crash it down. One straight. Oh yes!
On the dot of 11:30, Guy and Andy set off.
A little bit apprehensive.
Because Guy has exclusive use of the track, he has been given special permission to head out of the pits the wrong way, to then turn around and give himself a good run-up for the start without having to drive a whole 12.9-mile outlap. First job, break a lap record.
Right then, lad, we're away. Gas and go. Lead a bit in, we've got to go into shade. Look at the 2 kilometre board on the left, 2 kilometre board. I can't hear you! Right, that's on maximum. Can you hear me now? Yes, good. Calming. Jump straight, then gentle brakes. Jump straight, gentle. Test the curb, see what it behaves like. No, it bounces. Skimmer brakes, feel it hot.
Halfway through his very first lap, Guy's flying, but the van's a handful.
It's just a big van, he's too tall. Trying to manhandle that with no power steering. It was good because I got loads of feeling for the steering.
Strong right, straight through. Bit more gas, keep her balanced.
A lot of van. Yeah, and the brakes, struggling with the brakes.
Is that lock in the back?
Too much power in the rear brakes compared to the front brakes.
Seems to handle all right. Bit bouncy through Whipperman.
As he powers along the 2-kilometre straight for the first time, Guy hits 144 miles per hour. And that's without pushing hard.
Look at that black sign. Keep back in the gas. Keep your feet back in it. Bit more.
As he nears the end of his first lap, all is looking good.
You was also on pit lane, weren't you? What did it look like when I came on? All right. Motor in.
Amazingly, on his very first attempt, Guy has beaten the lap record by almost 30 seconds, recording a time of 9:28.
Gas through. Feel it jump. Gas.
He's not finished yet, though, and pushes even harder on lap 2.
Everything was hunky-dory, really.
We're going to be travelling faster than we have before. Is it all going to work?
Second lap was going faster, but the van was getting bloody hard work.
Get it stopped here. And brakes. Yeah, I know.
Everything was red hot in the engine bay. All the rear suspension, the front suspension was just... It's got 2-ton of van to deal with. It was just getting red hot. And it was just pushing on because the tyres were overheating. Oh, yeah. You'll have enough cameras in the van to see that I might have been sweating.
A third of the way into the lap, Guy's 6 seconds up on his previous time.
I think what I was losing in the van being unsettled, I was gaining in confidence in the track and that van around that track.
As he rides the banked carousel corner, he's 10 seconds faster and on for a blistering lap.
They use all the track on the way out. Every inch.
Just from the noise alone, everything resonates.
Gas up and over, feel it, it wriggles.
It's one of the loudest, if not the loudest, vehicles I've been in.
Gentle brakes before. Missed the first apex, look for the second.
There's something about that van that is... it's playing with fire. It's really playing with fire.
Guy and Andy are still on track for a great time. But behind them, Andy's words are proving all too prescient. A turbo oil line has come loose and oil is now spraying onto the engine. And that's started a fire.
We braked until the smoke come forward and I thought, oh, that may be right.
There's smoke coming through in the cabin. Reading the apex, what are the temperatures like? Good. Right.
Everything was all right. I was looking at the numbers on the dash, so I thought there's no issues there, but there is something going on in the back. But the van was still going good.
Keep going, it's not completely on fire yet.
Faster than it looks, you can let it run out really wide. Feed it, touch more gas in. More, a bit more. More again.
As they reach the 2-kilometre straight, the fire's getting worse. This could be Guy's only chance to push for the speed record.
And then she conked out. I don't know why he did that. So I had to reset everything, switch everything back on. Oh, she fired up again. So we lost a good few seconds there. And then we finished the lap.
There's flames at the back of the car.
As we're coming to a halt, loosen belts to get the fire extinguisher out.
Fire! Fire!
I thought there'd have been a bit of smouldering going on, but no, I didn't think we'd have flames. But we did, and we dealt with them. No one died.
Yeah.
Did we do it?
Do you want to know your time?
Go on, what have we done? We've done
9:28.
Oh, so we've done the record?
You've done the record.
First lap, 9:28.
We've done the record.
Guy's broken the lap record, but with the van's engine now fire damaged, he's forced to abandon the speed record attempt.
Hey, up. Call that a draw.
While the speed record will have to wait for another day.
Done the lap record, that'll be 30 seconds. 30 seconds?
Yeah. Guy's more than happy.
Happy camper. Happy camper, the job's done. The job's done. We had a fire. We had a fire with that guy's thumb off.
Surely everyone knows that if you're going to go to a racetrack, you don't take a van, no matter how much modifications and silliness you've thrown at it.
We was nearly in an heat, weren't we?
I mean, mega fun. There is a certain grudging admiration from the Germans at what Guy's built in his shed and brought over and broke a record in.
Any spare second I've had in my life over the past 5 months has been that tranny van. And now, and breathe.
It's not speed. Outright speed is stimulating, but that doesn't mean that the very fastest vehicle is the most fun. That thing's such good fun.
Dale's full lap record was 9 minutes 57 seconds. I did on my first lap 9 minutes 28, so the thick end of 30 seconds off.
9:28. Mega lap time for a van. No van has ever gone that fast before.
Yeah, but for how long am I going to be Nurburgring lap record holder? Dale's got a smile on his face. Yeah. You're not having my van. You're not having my van,